When Prince passed, I was at home and I heard it on the news. But we spent a lot of time together. I'm an expert addict, okay? I've done it. And I could not tell. I never had an inkling, not even a suspicion, that this dude was dropping even an aspirin.
Chaka Khan has finally revealed what actually led up to Prince's death. Word on the street is that the iconic artist was allegedly blackmailed into taking that ultimately led to his untimely death. So what does Chaka Khan have to say about all this?
This dude broke both his ankles at the same time.
What?
Wearing them high heels, did a jump, doing this on stage.
Oh,
okay.
Jesus.
He was in pain, yang. Okay.
Chaka just dropped some info. Did you catch it? She said Prince broke both his ankles at the same time. No wonder he was addicted to pain meds.
If I'd have thought about that back then when I was looking for some evidence, I probably could have come up with some evidence.
So buckle up because we're about to spill all the tea. Let's start with the basics. Prince, the iconic musician known for his eclectic work, flamboyant stage presence, and immense musical talent, passed away in 2016. The cause? An accidental overdose of fentanyl, a powerful opioid.
The pioneering musician Prince has died at the age of 57. His publicist, Yvette Noel-Schur, told the Associated Press the music icon was found dead at his home Thursday in suburban Minneapolis.
Prince's death on April 21, 2016, at his Paisley Park residence in Minnesota was a tragic end for the legendary musician, sparking numerous speculations and investigations into the circumstances surrounding his demise. Officially, Prince died from an accidental overdose of fentanyl, a powerful opioid that is significantly more potent than morphine. However, the path that led Prince to this fate is filled with layers of complexity involving chronic pain management, possible addiction, and perhaps even exploitation. For years, Prince suffered from severe hip pain, a condition exacerbated by his energetic performances and acrobatic stage moves. In 2010, he underwent hip replacement surgery, which provided some relief but did not entirely eliminate his pain. To manage this persistent discomfort, Prince was prescribed painkillers, including the potent opioid Percocet. Friends and family have noted that Prince did not use these medications recreationally, but relied on them strictly to cope with his debilitating pain. Despite his efforts to manage his pain responsibly, Prince's reliance on painkillers became more pronounced over time. This increasing dependency was a well-known secret among those close to him. On April 14, 2016, just a week before his death, Prince's private jet made an emergency landing in Moline, Illinois, due to a medical emergency where he was found unconscious. He was revived with a shot of Narcan, an opioid antidote, indicating a serious overdose. In the days leading up to his death, Prince's representatives sought help from Dr. Howard Kornfeld, a specialist in addiction treatment. Kornfeld was scheduled to meet with Prince on April 21st, the very day Prince was found dead, to discuss his condition and potential treatment options. This last-minute attempt to seek professional help underscores the severity of Prince's situation and his desperate need for effective pain management solutions. But the question that has haunted fans and family alike is, how did Prince, who had no history of abuse, end up addicted to painkillers? Well, according to Chaka Khan, who was a close friend and collaborator of Prince, the answer might be darker and more sinister than we ever imagined.
But we spent a lot of time together. There was a portion of our lives that we spent together, and we were seeing each other every day, and it was really beautiful.
Prince and Chaka Khan shared a deep and enduring friendship that spanned decades. They first connected in the late 1970s, drawn together by their mutual passion for music and creativity. This bond led to numerous collaborations, including the iconic cover of Prince's song, I Feel For You, which became one of Chaka Khan's biggest hits. Chaka Khan often described Prince as a musical genius and a deeply private person. Despite their close relationship, she was unaware of the extent of his addiction issues. In an interview, Chaka revealed that Prince was a master of illusion and misdirection. He was very adept at concealing his struggles, and she never saw him taking any, not even aspirin. This was partly because Prince was very careful about his public persona and wanted to maintain an image of invincibility. When Prince passed away, Chaka Khan was devastated. The news of his death and the revelation of his addiction came as a complete shock to her. She found it hard to believe that someone she had spent so much time with and who seemed so in control could be suffering so much in silence.
I could not tell. I never had an inkling. Not even a suspicion that this dude was dropping even an aspirin.
Now let's backtrack a bit. Prince was known for his energetic performances and incredible stage presence, but many don't know the physical toll it took on him. In the early 2000s, Prince reportedly broke both his ankles. Can you imagine the pain and struggle he must have gone through? To cope with this immense pain, Prince began taking painkillers. But was it just about the pain, or was there something more sinister at play? There are whispers and rumors that Prince was blackmailed into taking these. In one of his last interviews, Prince hinted at some troubling issues he was facing.
I feel like the greatest performer that I could have been, and people who love me feel that I was the greatest performer they'd ever seen, so there's nothing left to prove.
In any case, the industry's dark underbelly is nothing new to Chaka Khan, as she has had her own experiences with it. Chaka Khan has been vocal about the dark side of the music industry and her own experiences with manipulation and abuse. Chaka Khan has accused Clive Davis of sending Diddy to rough her up during one of their famous spats. She described the incident so vividly that many fans were convinced she was telling the truth. Come to think of it, who hasn't been telling the truth about the founder of Bad Boy Records? Anyway, fans have been tearing into the music mogul since Chaka Khan's revelations, expecting him and his mentor to apologize for their actions, but trust Diddy to turn a deaf ear. It all started when Diddy took to Instagram to apologize for mistreating and manhandling Cassie Ventura in a video that recently made rounds on the internet. Diddy's apology video drew mixed reactions, as some fans lambasted him for laying his hands on a woman. They claimed that the music mogul wasn't truly sorry for his actions and that he was only apologetic because cameras captured him. Others also thought that he, indeed, was sorry for his indiscretion and deserved forgiveness. But the comment that caught everyone's attention and got all tongues wagging was that of Indira Khan, daughter of Chaka Khan. Indira Khan, also known as Malini Khan, then narrated an incident when Diddy squared up to her mother when the two parties met at an event. Indira claimed that Diddy's bodyguard jumped her then 19-year-old brother when he tried to intervene. Shen then ended her comment by claiming that she was happy about everything that was happening to him and only wished him the worst. She wrote, "I'm glad this is happening to you. You got in my mother's face and publicly disrespected her, yelling and screaming like a lunatic when my little brother tried to get you out of my mother's face. Your security jumped my 19-year-old brother. These may be your dark days, but I'm singing and dancing watching your demise." At Chaka Khan, isn't it great, Mom? Of course, Diddy didn't reply to Malini Khan's comments, but considering all that has happened to Diddy these past few months, we are better off believing her statements. Now, it's not certain where and when the altercation between Chaka Khan and Diddy took place, but many fans speculate that it might have happened after the vocalist publicly criticized Diddy's mentor. In 2012, the Through the Fire singer called out Clive Davis for partying when it was announced that Whitney Houston had passed on. To make matters worse, the party was at the same venue that the songstress breathed her last. To be precise, it was just a few floors below Whitney's suite. Chaka Khan didn't understand the logic behind Clive Davis's party when his mentee and signee was struggling for her dear life. She called out the music executive for being insensitive to the plight of his employees. Khan thought that Clive was insane for going ahead to organize a party at which the deceased singer was supposed to perform. "I thought that was complete insanity," Khan said. And knowing Whitney, I don't think that she would have said, "The show must go on." She's the kind of woman who would have said, "Stop everything. I'm not going to be there." I don't know what could motivate a person to have a party in the building where the person whose life he had influenced so enormously had died, and whose life has been affected by hers. I don't understand how that party went on. Chaka Khan had planned on attending Davis's annual party, but she admitted that she was paralyzed after being informed of Houston's death upon her arrival in Los Angeles. She also lashed out at those who were responsible for having the bodyguard actress in the city for a full week prior to her pre-Grammy performance. She explained that it wasn't appropriate to allow someone who's recovering from addiction to spend a whole week by herself in a hotel. Using herself as an example, Khan revealed that she often would arrive in the city a day before or on the same day she was billed to perform. This way, she was sure to avoid getting tempted to go in for. I, too, was an addict, and I know if I was on the set of a movie, even now, and I've been recovered for 7 years, and I found out that I was coming to a city like LA, we would have made specific plans that I come in the night before or day of performance, she said, especially if you have not gone in and got proper treatment and gotten your situation handled. That was the first big mistake. For her to come in an entire week before her performance at the party, I would have never done that. She then blamed her handler, which in this case includes Clive Davis, for everything that happened to Whitney Houston. I stand on whoever flew her out to perform at that party should have provided someone to be there to somehow keep the riffraff from out of the situation, to keep some of the dangerous people away.
That was the first big mistake, for her to come in an entire week before her performance at the party.
Khan's comments opened the floodgates for several criticisms directed at the founder of Arista Records. Many fans claimed that Clive Davis appeared to be expecting Whitney's demise, which explains why he partied even when the body was being conveyed from the hotel to the morgue. The music executive was dragged on social media, with many fans calling for his head. Some even claimed that Clive Davis had a hand in the demise of Whitney Houston, given that the singer was more valuable unalive than alive. A few years before the demise of Whitney, she was broke and neck-deep in debt. The singer, who had sold millions of albums, was now a poor wreck, asking friends and families for $100 handouts. Many people wondered where all her money went. She had now become a liability rather than an asset to her record label. So, according to Deep Throat sources, Clive and his cohorts thought that the only way the singer could become profitable again was when she passed away. They knew that once the world heard of the singer's demise, its sympathy would be evoked, leading to a sudden rush for Whitney's albums. They believed this rush would spike album sales, helping them recoup all the cash they spent on the bodyguard actress. They even had a perfect example: Michael Jackson. A few years before MJ's passing, he was struggling to hit the heights that everyone knew him for. His albums weren't performing well on the market, and his physical constraints wouldn't allow him to perform as he used to. However, when he passed away in 2009, his album sales skyrocketed, and he made more money for his bosses than when he was alive. So, Clive Davis and his cohorts allegedly took a leaf out of that playbook to plot their own schemes, but they had to make sure it all didn't point back to them. So, instead of making Whitney pass away due to cardiac arrest, they made it look like Whitney Houston passed due to accidental drowning. Fans claimed that Davis got some guys to do his bidding, who made the whole thing look like the singer's demise was an accident. Interestingly, a private investigator, Paul Huebel, who used to work as a police officer, had a similar theory. Paul, who investigated the demise of Whitney, disagreed with the official coroner's report, claiming that the singer was eliminated by enforcers sent by barons. He explained that Whitney Houston owed some barons money, and they sent two muscles to come and roughen her up. However, the muscles accidentally eliminated her and quietly left the hotel. According to him, the coroner's report indicated that Whitney's hands and legs showed signs of struggling with her assailants. He stated that the water in which she drowned was still hot when the paramedics got there, meaning it was way hotter before she met her demise. Thus, he concluded that the singer was pushed into the water because no person, not even someone high on, would attempt bathing in scalding hot water. Many fans accepted a majority of Huebel's report, but disagreed that Whitney was eliminated by some barons. Instead, they argued it was Clive who ordered a hit on Whitney Houston, which explains why he was partying downstairs with his friends. The whole incident dragged Davis' name in the mud, and he purportedly decided to punish Chaka Khan, the instigator of the backlash. Clive appeared to be the vindictive type who wouldn't let issues pass without taking his pound of flesh, which we would come to later in this video. So the music executive informed his mentee, Diddy, about the embarrassment Chaka Khan's comment had brought him, and purportedly sent the Bad Boy CEO to exact revenge on his behalf. This is why Diddy allegedly shouted at Chaka Khan at the slightest provocation, with no respect for her age, pedigree, or achievements. Diddy was allegedly out for blood, and nothing would stop him. Fans even thanked God people were around when the incident happened, or Chaka Khan would have received a similar treatment to Cassie in the video currently trending on the internet. Also, fans were grateful that the singer's 19-year-old son and her daughter Malini were around to protect their mother from Diddy's wrath. This explains why Malini said she was happy about everything happening to Diddy right now. In her mind, he's paying for all the sins committed against her mother. Chaka Khan has also drawn parallels between Prince's experiences and those of other artists like Michael Jackson. Both were iconic figures, both had immense talent, and both died from related issues. Michael Jackson, too, was reportedly under immense pressure and manipulation from those around him. For starters, prior to his demise in a high-profile press conference, Jackson thrilled fans by announcing his This Is It concert residency at London's O2 Arena.
These will be my final show performances in London. This will be it. This is it. And when I say this is it, it really means this is it.
Michael Jackson's career comeback with This Is It wasn't just about his desire to perform again. Mounting debt played a significant role, and the tour was designed to prove to the public that Jackson still had his legendary talent, while also helping him regain control of his spiraling finances. Despite sensationalized Wacko Jacko headlines over the years, Jackson wanted to show that he remained an extraordinary entertainer. In preparation for the concert series, Jackson wrote new songs and rehearsed for multiple hours a day. However, as the opening night approached, his behavior grew increasingly erratic. Emotionally frail and physically thin, Jackson's transformation was alarming. His makeup artist, Karen Faye, noted in April 2009 that he was very upbeat, but on the thin side. By June, she no longer recognized him, describing him as stoic and frightened. He repeatedly asked, "Why can't I choose?" and appeared emaciated, a stark contrast to his former self. Between April and June 2009, significant changes occurred that contributed to Jackson's deteriorating condition. In May, AEG Live hired Dr. Conrad Murray as Jackson's exclusive personal physician for the tour, though AEG later claimed there was never an official contract with Murray. Murray's role was to ensure Jackson was in tour-ready shape, but Jackson had been dealing with chronic pain for years. Injuries included severe burns sustained during a Pepsi commercial shoot in 1984 and a back injury from a stage accident in Munich in 1999. These injuries, combined with Jackson's sleeping troubles and anxiety disorders, led to a dependency on prescription. Jackson's dependence on medications had been known since 2007, when a Beverly Hills pharmacy filed a complaint against him for an unpaid prescription bill from 2005. Court documents revealed that Jackson reportedly took 30 to 40 Xanax pills nightly. As rehearsals progressed, Jackson complained of fatigue and insomnia. Dr. Murray admitted to giving Jackson infusions of propofol to help him sleep. After a poor rehearsal on June 13, 2009, Jackson missed the next day's rehearsal on Murray's advice. Show director Kenny Ortega testified that AEG insisted Murray ensure Jackson attended rehearsals. When Jackson returned on June 19th, Ortega described him as lost, cold, afraid, and considered halting the production but feared breaking Jackson's heart. Ortega's emails to AEG executives expressed concern over Jackson's paranoia, anxiety, and obsessive behavior, recommending a psychiatrist evaluate him. However, at a June 20th meeting, Murray asserted that Jackson was physically and emotionally capable of handling his responsibilities. Following a decade-long hiatus from performing an intense public scrutiny during his trial for alleged SA, Jackson's comeback needed to succeed. The stakes were incredibly high and the pressure immense. Jackson's return to rehearsals on June 23rd seemed promising. Ortega was overjoyed by his energy and enthusiasm, and Dr. Murray claimed to have stopped using propofol for the previous 2 nights. A sleep expert confirmed that recovery from heavy propofol use could be swift. On June 24th, Jackson attended his final rehearsal at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, appearing in good spirits and thanking his crew. However, in the early hours of June 25th, Jackson began complaining of fatigue. Dr. Murray, concerned about Jackson's propofol addiction, administered Valium instead. Despite Jackson's repeated requests for propofol, Murray initially resisted, but ultimately gave in mid-morning, adding the to Jackson's intravenous drip. Murray's actions during the critical hours following Jackson's propofol administration raised many questions. According to his interview with the police, Murray left Jackson alone for 10 minutes, returning to find him unresponsive. Instead of immediately calling 911, Murray attempted to resuscitate Jackson himself, which delayed crucial medical intervention. Paramedics and hospital staff also failed to revive Jackson, who was pronounced dead at UCLA Medical Center. The coroner's report confirmed that Jackson died from an overdose of surgical anesthetics and antidepressants administered by his doctor the previous night. Murray's failure to inform paramedics and physicians of the he had given Jackson and the lethal levels indicated by the coroner's report led to widespread outrage. Many fans and Jackson's family called for justice, and Murray was eventually charged with involuntary manslaughter. He pleaded not guilty but was convicted and sentenced to 4 years in prison.
We, the jury in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Conrad Robert Murray, guilty of the crime of involuntary manslaughter.
The relatively light sentence angered many who felt Murray deserved a harsher punishment. Speculation and conspiracy theories about Jackson's death emerged, with some believing Murray was part of a plot to eliminate Jackson. These theories question why a reputable doctor would administer such high doses and withhold critical information from emergency responders. Some, including Jackson's sister LaToya, believed he was a victim of powerful individuals who didn't want him to succeed. One of her tweets asked other witnesses to be called for questioning to help unravel the purported mystery surrounding MJ's death. The tweet read, "There are wives, girlfriends, and employees who know exactly what happened to Michael. Please come forward and tell what really happened." In another tweet, she insinuated that Murray knew exactly what went on the night her brother passed on, but he didn't want to open up for fear of retribution from the powers that be. "Michael worked his entire life for his children. Please help us get justice. Dr. Murray is a very small piece of the puzzle," she wrote. "I feel like screaming. Murray knows exactly what happened at Carrollwood and who else is behind all of this." LaToya then claimed that her brother was eliminated for his money, but exonerated her family, saying that they had no hand in his passing. "Whenever someone is murdered, you follow the money trail and you see who has the most to gain. Those are normally the ones responsible." And then she added, "The family has absolutely nothing to do with his estate." Interestingly, fans were divided on LaToya's sentiments. Some agreed with her that the doctor was in on the act all along, given the reasons stated earlier in the video. However, there was a small section of fans who thought that the doctor was innocent of all the charges and that he was only dispensing his duties. According to them, the media and law enforcement were only scapegoating Conrad Murray when there were other issues surrounding MJ's elimination. For example, they pointed out that MJ was addicted to sleep and pain medications for years, and that his family tried to stage an intervention in 2007. However, their efforts were thwarted when they got to the gate of the estate, only to be turned away by his security. They also claimed that several medications were found at the singer's residence after he passed, most of them under fraudulent names. According to one 2004 police report, the late singer was taking up to 40 anti-anxiety medications. Thus, the fans believe that Dr. Murray was only a victim of circumstance and should be left off the hook with a slap on the wrist. However, Paris Jackson, MJ's daughter, didn't side with such sentiments. Like LaToya, she believes that her father was assassinated by people who were after his money and legacy. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Paris claimed that all the pieces of evidence pointed to the fact, and only true fans would know it. "Absolutely, my dad was eliminated, because it's obvious. All arrows point to that. It sounds like a total conspiracy theory, and it sounds like BS, but all real fans and everybody in the family know it. It was a setup. It was BS." However, unlike some fans and her aunt LaToya, Paris didn't want to place the blame squarely at the feet of Dr. Conrad Murray. She thought that the whole thing was a chess game that involved many people who had or wanted a stake in MJ's estate. So, she didn't think it was one person, but a lot of people. Interestingly, Paris gave a hint that she knew more than what she was telling. Her claim that it was a chess game suggests that the whole plot is complex, and giving out secrets might only muddy the waters. This brings us back to Prince. Could it be that he was facing similar pressures and threats? The music industry is known for its dark and manipulative tactics, and if someone as powerful as Clive Davis could send Diddy to intimidate Chaka Khan, who's to say that Prince wasn't facing similar threats? Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.